Imagine being trapped in a room with no windows or doors. The walls are slowly closing in. The air is dense. No one can help you escape. Your heart is racing, your breathing is heavy, you're starting to sweat. Your brain is forcing you into panic mode. The space is getting tighter and tighter. You need to stretch out. You feel cramped. There's no way out. This is what claustrophobia feels like to me. It is described by Medical News Today as an anxiety disorder in which the sufferer has an irrational fear of having no escape or being closed in. A lot of people fear being trapped on an elevator with a lot of people or being in a crowded area. For me, I first realized that I was claustrophobic a few years ago when I was on a cross-country plane ride. I had been on this plane several times, but for the first time I was seated by the window. For most people, that's no problem, with a nice view and a place to lay their head. But I, on the other hand, started to immediately feel panicked. I have long legs, and some of you may find this to be a little silly, but a lot of times I have no place to put them. So when you're in a confined area, you are confined to certain areas and certain positions to be seated. And any of you who have ever been on a plane know that there's very limited leg room on a plane. So as people started to file onto the plane, I felt my heart start to race. I was 3 people deep in this row, and I knew I was trapped for the next 3 hours. Just as we reached cruising altitude, the person in front of me reclined their seat, which reduced my already cramped legs to completely being non-mobile, and I lost it. We're talking full-blown panic mode. I was crying, hyperventilating, the whole 9 yards. Luckily, the stewardess quickly addressed the situation and found someone who was willing to trade places with me and give me an aisle seat so that I didn't feel so confined. At that point, I realized that I may have a problem. Since that point, I have never been back on a plane, and partially out of being embarrassed for causing such a scene, and then also because of the issue of feeling trapped. I've put it off for years, but this past week I had to make the decision of letting this anxiety control my life or facing my fear head on. My brother, who's been in the military and has lived in Germany for the past 3 years, returned stateside this past weekend and had limited time to visit with the family. So after much consideration, I decided that I would attempt this cross-country flight to visit with him. I prepped myself and talked to myself and told myself that it was going to be okay. And for the record, this flight that I was on actually didn't have assigned seats, so it was kind of a general admission type thing. As I boarded the flight, I could feel my anxiety building up. I considered even turning around and just FaceTiming my brother and not letting it, not going on the flight. But in the midst of looking for my seat and seeing that dreaded window seat, I knew I couldn't let this control my life any longer. I took my seat next to the window and I closed my eyes and took a couple of deep breaths. As the other passengers started to fill in the seats, I could feel my anxiety creeping back up. I considered the fact that maybe I might need to be medicated. Just as the plane took off, I thought about not being able to stretch my legs, which is where it all begins for me. I tried to push that thought to the back of my head, but it just kept creeping back up. And once I had finally reached the point of what I felt was no return, and I was going to be causing a scene and breaking down and having an anxiety attack again, I said a silent prayer, and I prayed for strength and comfort and the power to overcome this fear. As I took a couple more deep breaths, and I just kind of told myself that it was mind over matter, mind over matter, mind over matter, and I had a calming, almost sensation come over me, and something just told me to just focus on other things, bring your mind to other thoughts. So I then started focusing on cloud shapes and what my brother may look like now since I hadn't seen him in 3 years, and just the joy of where I was going and what I was getting to do. And before I knew it, we were descending into our destination. I felt completely overjoyed because I had finally conquered